Thank you again, chipmunkbaking.com.
You need a guide to show you how we get through a situation like this, to give you resources and to help you get out of the emotional pea soup fog of dealing with a crisis and the resulting fallout. I've been there, and I'm here to help you.
Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the SHEILAMACSHOW, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAARADIO. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheilamac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today we have special guest David Spratt. He is the co-founder of the Carpe, and you're going to learn more about that. And he has lived his whole life with the embarrassment of sweaty hands at the University of North Carolina. Him and Casper Kubica, through a shared scholarship program with Duke, they both bonded over always being sweaty guys in the room. And they started having ingredients and chemicals delivered to their dorm rooms and mixing concoctions. After a year and over 60 prototypes, they made something that worked for them. And from that dorm room, Carpe was born. And they've helped over 1 million people live without embarrassing, uncomfortable sweat. So welcome to the show, David. And
thanks, Sheila. Happy to be here.
And I would like to start off. This show actually started from my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And that sweating is quite a situation. So I'd love to hear about a time in your business or personal life where you experienced a tough situation and how you got back on track.
For sure. So I think, a lot of people say COVID was a huge problem for them, for their business. A lot of people went out of business. We are lucky enough to be, people and to run a company that has continued to grow and continued to be able to not only employ everyone, but to hire more people throughout the pandemic. But it was not easy. And the reason it wasn't easy was because our main product, the first product that we ever made, was an antiperspirant lotion for sweaty hands. Now, I'm not sure if you know anyone that was shaking hands during COVID, but I have not met a single one. So sweat is a very social and professional problem. And when people aren't socializing and in professional environments where they're shaking hands, or even like fun environments where they're high-fiving and also giving presentations, the demand for those products to help with that problem goes down dramatically. The team responded in a really amazing way, and obviously we aren't just selling a product for sweaty hands. We have products for sweat all over the body, and we pride ourselves in making the most effective sweat solutions for everywhere. We're the #1 dermatologist recommended brand for sweat all over the body, which is pretty exciting. And we've had, like you said, about 1 million people whose lives have genuinely been changed by our products. In terms of how we responded to that big problem of people just not shaking hands, we really leaned in to our community. We leaned into just making a lot of organic content. We pulled back ad spend. We started leaning into other products like our facial sweat product and our under boob sweat product and some others that there was still significant demand for. Foot sweat, because people were going outside and hiking and getting sweaty feet and sweaty socks and blisters. And obviously what became our #1 SKU was our underarm antiperspirant, just because we do make the most effective antiperspirant for your underarms. And so we really leaned in there and had a tremendous amount of success. We focused on, our customers. We focused on making a great experience. We focused on, long-term investments like product development, things that would really, set us up for a very successful long term. So that's how we responded, but definitely was a thorn, and was not, exciting to be faced with that. But I think a lot of people fared significantly worse.
Mm, that's incredible. And that's something Tony Robbins talks about, resourcefulness. And that's like one of our most important tools. And this time has caught us all off guard and made us be more resourceful in order to just survive in business and thrive. So that makes a big difference. Now, I'd like to go back a little bit to, okay, so you both were in this university, and what were your majors? Were you majoring in sweat products or what was your majors?
Yeah. So first, on the note of kind of resourcefulness, one of our core values is just find a way. So,
Mhm.
whatever the situation, you just find a way.
Right.
There are really no excuses. Let's just find a way to make it happen, and to build what we all want to build, which is a company and a brand that is genuinely improving people's quality of life by just making them drier and more confident. And then in terms of our story, yeah, so we majored in sciences. I was health policy and management and chemistry at UNC, and Casper, my co-founder, was physics and computer science at Duke. Neither one of us planned on kind of doing this post-grad.
Mhm.
We both had other plans. I was interested in medical school. Casper was interested in going to grad school for computer science. And but we had been working on this because we both had sweaty hands and we wanted to solve our own problem. We launched the product, and then we started hearing from people that were buying it and using it. And the response wasn't, "Oh, this is a cool product." The response was, "This product has changed my life. I can now I can now go on dates. I can leave the house. I can be confident. I can do all of these things and actually live a life that I wanted to live. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. And by the way, can you also make something for this and this and this and this?" And
Nice.
we just started hearing that over and over and over again. And we realized that, wow, like, we not only have a huge opportunity here, but we're solving a fundamental, like, core problem that has yet to be solved. This sounds exciting and fun and extremely fulfilling. And so that's when we decided to, make the leap and go full time post grad, instead of, me going to med school or Casper going to grad school.
Oh, yes. I always feel like I have this saying, the universe conspires for our highest and best good. So sometimes our plans are derailed, and medical school and IT stuff didn't happen exactly what you planned, but it's even better. And you're helping so many people. I mean, imagine going on a date. You don't want to be sweating, but you're nervous. It's first date, whatever. So all these different things to help people, it really does make a difference. Now, are you still planning to do medical or combine that in some way, or are you just focused on the business now? What is the plans going forward?
We Yeah, our plans going forward, really, we're just very focused on solving the problem of sweat and making people drier. We want to make sweat an irrelevant problem for everyone out there that is just tired of sweating more than they want to all over the body, wherever they sweat. And so that's our core focus. We're focused on building the Carpe brand, and we really want Carpe to be synonymous with sweat as, Kleenexes with tissues. So that's really what our focus on. And I do not think that medical school is in the future plans. My wife is in med school, and
Yeah.
it's not for me.
Oh, that's so good. See how that is wonderful how that happens sometimes, where a surprise shows up that's even better than what you planned. I love that. I'd love to hear how you found the name. Where did the name come from? What's the origin? How did you come up with the name?
Yeah, for sure. So Carpe, like Carpe Diem. So Carpe Diem is like
Yes.
seize the day. And
Mhm.
so we really, thought about the brand as just something that is going to give someone the confidence and ability to go seize the day and, live the life that they want to live and how they want to live it. and not worry about sweat. Sweat's the last thing that anyone should have to think about ever. And so that's why we named it Carpe.
Now, I'd love to hear a little bit for those that are tuning in that are interested in starting their own business or side business. You started a business as students and have such success. So what tips do you have for newer entrepreneurs that are just starting out, so that they can save some of the time that it takes, all those setbacks before you figure out the process? What advice do you have?
The advice that I have is just do it, and just go after it. And there's no advice that I can give that's going to help you avoid mistakes. I typically find like most people just need to make the mistakes on their own and learn from the experience. But the best advice that I can give is the advice that most don't take, which is just do it, just try it, just go after it and dive in. I think, most talk about ideas and think about different ideas. Ideas are great. Ideas are powerful. Ideas can change the world. But ideas aren't really anything without the execution behind them. So don't spend too much time on the idea. Ideas can change. Ideas do change. They always do. Our idea of what we, were originally doing has changed dramatically since we started. And so just kind of, and also don't focus on the idea, focus on a problem, focus on a real problem that you want to solve, and then just go do it and try to make something that people want and people will use, and get the feedback and go from there. But just dive in. That would be my advice.
Yes, it is. There's so many course corrections that we have to make in business. So for myself, I started at 23. I opened a gift store, 5,000 square feet, $5,000 a month in Southern California. And I didn't know anything about running a store. So I made every mistake in the book, and I actually rebranded within 6 months and hired a marketing team. And that store originally helped me purchase 4 buildings. So I had 5 gift stores, paid for and clear, and raised my 6 children. I adopted 3 so along the way. And that really, it paid for college, it paid for schooling, it paid for everything. And it had a heart. So we gave back to at-risk youth and had a whole program for them. And that was, I woke up every day to serve those kids and the community. And I think when you're going in service and that's your focus, all those course corrections were okay. It was just part in it. And I didn't care. I didn't care so much. And I think maybe that's the gift of starting a business when you're younger and not waiting for perfection. Because perfection, that's like sweating the small stuff, right? Talking about sweat. And so we're trying to be perfect, and you wait until perfection happens, you'll never start. That fear comes in. So
For sure.
I think that's a real gift. That really is. What do you suggest for those that are dealing with that situation of fear? They're concerned about starting a business. What would you suggest to get them started?
One, I'd want to know what they're concerned about. I'm not sure I can make any suggestions without really understanding what the core problem is. And that's similar to starting a business. Make sure you're solving a real problem. And I think in terms of, fears that you have, I mean, everyone has fears. You just got to face them head on and just pound through them and go do what you want to do and have fun with it. I think if you just go and have fun and solve problems, like it's going to be, you're going to learn something from it. And whether it becomes a successful business or not, it will most likely, improve your life long-term in some way, shape, or form because of what you learn from it, if you're open to have it as a learning experience and as a journey.
Now, how did you overcome, both of you, overcome peer pressure or maybe advice from loved ones that were like, you're studying medicine. What are you doing with this side gig thing? What's going on?
Yeah. It's hard for me to to speak to this just because I obviously I got that. My parents were like, "What? What are you doing?" Um,
Yeah.
but it honestly, it wasn't a second thought for me. We were solving a problem and we were having a lot of fun doing it. We were getting an extreme amount of fulfillment, like personal fulfillment,
Right.
from doing what we were doing and building what we were building. And we had a vision for the future that we wanted to bring to life. And so there really was no second guessing. Um, there was no, like big fears. It was just about going and doing it and seeing how it went, and learning from it and constantly growing, learning, growing, and again, trying to solve problems that
Mhm.
are meaningful to people. I think if you focus on those things, like you're gonna get to good places.
Yes, that's wonderful. Now, I'd love to hear a little bit more, understand about your products. Can you go into detail about some of the products you carry and how they work?
For sure. So we have antiperspirants and sweat absorbing products. So our antiperspirant is, has active ingredients and inactive sweat absorbing ingredients that both help absorb moisture and kind of prevent sweating long term, by decreasing the amount of sweat over time as you use it more and more. We have products for facial sweating, hand sweat, foot sweat, groin, under breast sweat, um, thigh, and we are soon to be coming out with some others. We have just gotten into scents. We haven't focused on scents for our underarm product historically, just because we've been very focused on sweat, and just helping people sweat less and get dry and stay dry. But we have recently launched some really amazing scents, cypress and vanilla, because that was a big request from our customers. It's something that they really
Mhm.
wanted in our products. So we're really excited about that. And we obviously have some pretty big Black Friday deals going on. So if you sweat more than you want to, if you just want to get dry, if you want to use science-based products, you should definitely check out mycarpe.com and see what we have to offer. I think one of the big things for us is, we really focus on the science of sweat. And that's why we kind of go by this internal tagline of Carpe is better science for sweat.
Yes, that sounds great. All right. And again, we are coming to the end of our talking time, but I'd like to learn just a little bit more. First of all, one of the things I ask everyone is if you could go back in time, what would you tell your younger self? And we lost David. All right. So, all right. Okay, David's back.
Hey, sorry, someone tried calling me. I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow, look at that, Saved by the Bell. So the question is, if you could go back in time, what would you tell or advise your younger self?
Hmm. Um, so one thing that we did really well uh, early on was find people who've been there and done it, and they've
Mhm.
done what we want to do, which is build a big brand, a big company, a lot of success with it, and learn from them. Like pick their
Yes.
brain, ask them questions, learn from them. That's what we did really well. What I really would have loved to have known early on was just how to hire and lead people in a
Oh, yeah.
team. It sounds very easy and straightforward, but it is by far the hardest part of building a business. Just
Yes.
learning and knowing how to hire, who to hire, and how to really build a culture that's exciting
Mhm.
and caring and really just amazing to be a part of. And I'm excited that we've gotten there. It's just
Yes.
it's taken a lot of learning to really understand what it takes to build an
Mhm.
amazing culture. So would have loved to have learned that earlier, and been able to share more tips with my earlier self. But that's what I'd say.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I closed my stores, but I still have online stores. And it's funny because I closed them back in, I think it was 2001, and I still have meetings and dinners with all the employees. Wild. All these years later. So that our corporate culture was definitely a family of, an extended family, and all those kids, they're all doing well now and have their own businesses. So so that it does
That's
make a
awesome.
difference. It's like you want to go to work and be happy. You don't want to go to work like, oh, this is work. I don't like this. So that's the difference, and that's a wonderful thing to learn and be able to apply right away in your company. All right, now, David, we are at the end of our talking time, so I'd love for you to share again where people can learn more.
Yeah, go to mycarpe.com. That's MYCARPE.com and check out our sweat products that are going to keep you drier than anything else out there. It's really worth it. And obviously we offer 100%, money back guarantee. We really believe in our products and their power to really help you stay dry. So check them out.
All right. Thank you again, David, for being a guest on the show. This is Sheila Mack. Thank you again for tuning in, and I have some homework for you. So go and get your copy of the new Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. It is now on Amazon, Audible, Kindle, and all major bookstores. And get ready to tune in daily as I share the Business Leader Reboot. So that is starting a business, side business, or extra income. I don't care if you're starting from zero, rebooting, starting over completely. We are going to go through the steps over this year slowly together to rebuild, reboot, and reinvent your business and personal life, or your career and personal life on your terms. And I will also be sharing about investing in properties and how to get some passive income going this year as well. So stay tuned. If you are just tuning in, this is NBC Sheilamacshow here on KCAARADIO, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today we are discussing recession proofing and reinventing your life, the formula for success. So let's get into it. This is something I'm focusing on because this is what we are all dealing with globally right now. Yes, it is the Recession Proof Your Life podcast today, let's just say. And I'm your host, Sheila Mac, author of Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom and back into action in any situation. In today's episode, we'll be discussing how to recession-proof your career or business while still enjoying life. The recent economic turbulence has left many feeling uncertain about the future, but it's essential to remember that it's possible to not only survive but thrive. All right, so let's dive in. First of all, you got to think about, when you think about the recession, we're thinking money. So the first thing is to recession-proof your career or business. One is to diversify your revenue streams. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. In fact, we could get into a whole podcast just on eggs. And if you're lucky enough to get them in your shopping basket this time of year, it is insane. And if you stay tuned, I do have a special share about where to get direct to your home delivered farm fresh eggs. All right. And that's not from a sponsor, yet it is from a company that I do use to get farm fresh eggs delivered to my home. And I have been using that since the pandemic started in 2020. So, getting back to diversifying your revenue streams, explore new markets, products, or services that complement your existing offerings. This will help you mitigate the risk of a downturn in one area. Very important. So build up your cash reserve. A cash cushion is critical during uncertain times. Aim to have enough savings to cover 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. And that may sound impossible to some and easy for others, but it is possible. And that might mean renting out a room, taking a second job, reorganizing your finances. There's a lot of ways to do that faster than you might think once you get started. Streamlining your operations, cutting unnecessary costs, improving efficiency, and increasing productivity. By doing so, you will be better equipped to weather any economic storm. Yes, that is something that is so important. And one thing that I do a lot of is trying to figure out how to get more done in less time. And I kind of make it like a game. And it's kind of been a game I've been constantly working on because I love to have the show and I love to work with my clients and also have time with family and friends. So I feel like I have a good integration of my life and my business right now, and I'm really grateful for that. And it started with a lot of streamlining of my operations. The next thing is stay connected with your clients. Maintaining strong relationships with your client base is crucial. Make sure to keep in touch and understand their needs so that you can adjust your offerings accordingly. So, I think back to running my gift stores even, and how important not only just my working with the clients that walked in, but how I worked with my employees, the people that were in my training programs. I had a big training program where I worked with at-risk youth, and it just being out in the community, it wasn't like I was giving them even a business card, even when we had business cards back when I first opened my stores. It was just talking about what I loved, and part of it was that heart-based business that was gift stores at the time, and people would come in and I'd get new clients and new big contracts I had cruise ships. I had lots of people in the entertainment industry would order props from me because I had a really big store and the capability of ordering just about anything or sourcing items that they had trouble finding. I would hunt them down, and I had fun with that. So that was just the connection, and it really made a big difference, and it still does today. People first always works. Now, how? One of the things that we're all struggling with is how do we enjoy our life during this time while we're recession proofing? So it's really important, and I'm sure you've heard this part before, but prioritize your mental and physical health. Taking care of you should always be a top priority, no matter the state of the economy. Make sure to exercise regularly, eat well, and take breaks when you need it. And I think that's, if you're an entrepreneur, I am an entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur, although I do work with clients. I have contract work I do with different clients, and it's just incredible. However, some of the work that I do, there are breaks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I never gave myself a break. I just work solely for myself. So I started to really appreciate breaks and actually taking time during the day to have short breaks. And I'll schedule in an exercise break, or take the dog for a walk, or, I'll call a friend, whatever it may be. And it just it really is refreshing. And so if you are a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, or have a side gig, and you're working so hard right now to just keep up with this inflation or try to get a little bit ahead, it sounds counterintuitive, yet it really works. Give yourself a break as if you were going to work and someone else was paying you and they required you to take a break, because your body needs it, your brain needs it, and you will actually come back and get more done, have more productivity after that short break than if you had just worked straight through. So that is something that is super helpful. Now, make time for things that you love is another one. Whether it's reading, gardening, or spending time with your family and friends, make sure that this time brings you happiness. This will help maintain a positive outlook and reduce stress. So I think about how important it is that your no be no and your yes, yes. That when you're working extra hard, juggling your home, your business, your personal life, and getting through a crazy wild recession, inflation, everything going on right now, it is so important that you guard your heart and your time. That means that you're in alignment with your core values, life purpose, and vision. So if you're going out with friends, make sure they're aligned friends. We are the direct reflection of our peer group. This is for sure. So if there's people that perhaps you help, that's fine, because it's beautiful to have time that you are in contribution to help others. I still help at a girls' home and do things like that because that's dear to my heart. However, I also want to make sure that I'm in a group, a peer group, and I love my peer group, where I am challenged and they're pushing me and helping me and reminding me about who I am and who I'm becoming, and they're supporting me through it, and we support each other, and it's just a wonderful thing to have a peer group that has aligned goals, aligned visions, and I'm in a book club. I'm in I don't know how many masterminds. It's just such a wonderful thing. It's a social thing, but it's also aligned. So if there's a relationship, a friendship, even a family ship that's pulling you down, that's only one-sided, or just not really, it causes more stress or trauma. They bring the trauma, all that is not welcome at this time. So you have to figure out how you're going to set your boundaries and draw your lines in the sand regarding that, so that you can have your time devoted to those who matter most to you and to really rebuilding during this season. So also be mindful of your spending. Cut back on unnecessary expenses, but don't deprive yourself of things you love. Instead, look for ways to enjoy them more efficiently, such as cooking at home instead of eating out. I'm a really good cook, and I'm eating super healthy right now, doing this incredible nutritional fitness program that you can watch a video where I interviewed the CEO of the nutritional fitness company, which is all natural health foods, and it's just an incredible program. And I also have added sprouting and growing microgreens that I add to all my meals. And it's just been really healing and healthy. So I have another podcast show, a radio show that's recorded and saved on my YouTube channel at Sheilamacshow. And if you listen in there, you can learn about sprouting and how that can make such a difference in your energy level. It's pretty cool. So that's My next point is seeking out new experiences. Whether it's trying a new hobby, visiting a new place, or meeting new people, seeking out new experiences can help keep life exciting and enjoyable. So that means step out of your comfort zone, challenge yourself, do something different, wild, crazy, fun. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, it just has to be fun. So that's it for today's episode on recession proofing your life. I hope that you found these tips helpful in navigating the uncertain economic climate that we're in while still enjoying your life. Remember, tough times don't last, but tough people do. So stay positive, stay focused, and stay motivated. Until next time. Volume 9. Dear Sheila, I have been a caregiver of my father for close to 10 years. He is a disabled veteran. I am a single woman of 3 adult children, and I am the only one who is able to care for him. I am so incredibly honored to get to care for my father. In the daily activities, I get exhausted with the tasks of managing treatment schedules. My social and personal life is very much on the back burner. My father shares his guilty feelings with me and says he is a burden. I assure my dad he's not. I want some help with his caregiving and feel that I am being inadequate with his efforts for feeling this way. Would you be able to offer me some navigation with looking for options to help me secure some resources to assist me with my dad? Also, how can I take some time to press the reset button to help me find some personal time for myself? Signed, Too Tired to Think. Dear Too Tired to Think, well, it is an honor to have such a beautiful daughter. Your dad must be an amazing man and a veteran. That's wonderful that you're helping him so much, although it sounds like it is too much. And the thing about being a parent, I don't know if you have children yourself as well, but the thing about being a parent is we want our children to have their best lives as well. So although it's honorable that you are helping your dad so much, the beauty that he is a veteran is that there are so many extra services to help him. So between those services and the services that are around to help people that need care, there are so many options for you to get free and low-cost services to help you care for your dad at this time so that you can be his daughter and be present with him to have magic moments and time together to enjoy. In my book and on my website, I have a list of resources. All right, I have found something magical, something new that I am loving. At this stage in my life, I have been switching to the cleanest, best, healthiest makeup, shampoos, facial products. So I did find an incredible makeup line, and they have been around quite some time. It is called Beauty Counter, and if you go to beautycounter.com/SheilAMac, SHEILAMAC, or SheilAMac.com, and at the top of the menu, look for Natural Beauty. That will bring you to the site where you can learn about the specials and give clean beauty a try. I am just loving the difference it's making in my face. And one of the things that was really bothering me was a lot of the other products. I could not find eye makeup that wasn't irritating. So this is really like one of the few products I can actually wear around my eyes. And so I'm really loving everything. It makes my skin feel really clean and fresh. And so give it a try. Again, SheilAMac.com/natural beauty to learn more. If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's SHEILAMACSHOW here on KCAARADIO, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheilamac, and I have some news for you. Yes, you. I'm celebrating my 3rd year now on the station and will be expanding the show to a global network as well. You may now find the Sheilamac Show on all major podcasting channels, and if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, all the episodes are now available for viewing there as well. And I'm asking you for a quick favor. If you like the show, please help support the spread of this reboot channel on YouTube as well. My goal is to help as many people as possible through our interesting times to rebuild, reinvent, and reboot your business and personal life. I also wanted to share a little bit more about how I got here, what I do now, and how designing a business career and life on your terms is more than possible at any age or stage in life. I am an enterprisingly forward-thinking consultant, show host, and best-selling author. But how did I get here? Well, I began my career as an entrepreneur and property investment strategist back when I was 23 years young, when I boldly quit my government job with NASA JPL to open my first of 5 large gift stores while also starting to invest in property. I got to work with some of the world's most loved companies, such as negotiations on leases with Warner Brothers and winning trips to London as the top-selling Crabtree and Evelyn provider in the U.S. for multiple years. My stores were built on heart as I gave back to the community I came from. So now, some of you know this and some of you don't know this, but as a young girl with parents who were not well enough to care for me, I was homeless at age 10, then in foster care, where it was really hard to get a job while in the system. I finally emancipated at the age of 15 to start college early. While running my stores, I worked with a government program. Back then, it was called Job Training Partnership Act, making my stores an open source training site where close to 200 at-risk youth started their careers. Yes, I began my career helping business leaders and working professionals to design a life they love where they can have success in their careers and get to the business of life. See, a funny thing happened along the way. When I first opened my gift store, it was kind of crazy because I was this young upstart. That's what a lot of the store owners called me. My first store was in Montrose, California, in this sweet little hometown shopping park with other stores and restaurants nearby. And so I was the young upstart that didn't know what she was doing. At least that's what everybody said. And I didn't really care what they said. At that age, you know, their opinion was like, I don't really care. So that was probably a really good thing because I stayed focused on what I needed to do. And I had negotiated to lease out a 5,000 square foot gift store that needed a lot of work, and I got free rent and for about 6 months, and I had to start making the rent, which was $5,000 a month, which was a lot of money back then, $1 a square foot. And so I had to learn and relearn. I finally did hire quite soon in the game. I did hire a marketing expert, branding expert, I guess back then, and that lady really helped me to figure things out when I first started. And when you first start a business, especially when you're young, it was like I had no idea what to do, but I needed to learn because my rent was going to start coming due every month. And over that time, I started having more success. I did crazy things like stayed open until almost midnight every night, along with the restaurants who were very close to my store, while everybody else closed shop at about 5 or 6 p.m. So I was making more money from the start, and I just really my store was to help my kids, and the products I sold was whatever the community wanted. I sold lots of things to people in the entertainment industry. I worked with cruise ships. I worked with many different people in the community. And later on, the store owners actually came to me and asked me if I would consult them and help them. I actually started buying my other buildings because I didn't like the idea of paying rent for years and years and years and not building equity. So I did get my real estate license through that and invested and bought my other 4 store buildings. And lots of the other store owners worked with me, paid me to consult and help them do what I was doing. And I didn't really even know it was called consulting. I just knew how to figure it out, I guess. And so that's how I started my career. And now, I raised 6 children, all that, and now they're grown. And so I get to come to work every day and do what I naturally do best as an enterprising and forward-thinking business leader. Through my show, courses, and live events, I guide entrepreneurs and working professionals like you through the profitable steps of building a business, creation to expansion, marketing from planning to implementation, wealth preservation through strategic planning and, yes, real estate investing, and lifestyle design so that you can earn more while getting back to the business of living your best life. So I do invite you to tune in here to KCAA Radio, and also I would really appreciate it if you went to my YouTube channel, Sheilamacshow, and gave a subscribe and a listen to some of your favorite shows. And I do have some other exciting things, including a free gift to thank you. So if you go to www.sheilamac.com, that's SHEILAMAC, sheilamac.com, there you can get a free gift to get started on your reboot this year. And now, back to the show.
Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheilamac's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. If life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.sheilamac.com today.
If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheilamacshow here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheilamac, and today we are talking about how to get ahead when inflation is bad and a recession is looming. So that is the state of our economy. And of course, each economy starts at home. I do believe in manifesting. I do believe in positive action steps as well. So you can meditate and you can ask for good things, but there also requires some work. That yes, work is still involved, even in manifesting. You have to step into it, take the next right action and the next right action. And that comes with faith and walking with some common steps. So here are a few things that have helped people in certain uncertain times. Obviously, we are living in some crazy, wild, uncertain times. And with rising inflation and the possibility of a recession on the horizon, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed and unsure of how to protect ourselves and our loved ones. However, there are some steps that we can take, each of us, to weather this storm and come out stronger on the other side. And talking about storms, I am sending prayers and blessings for everybody's safety in Northern California and across the U.S. as we go through some very interesting and crazy weather and storms this season. Now, back to savings. First and foremost, it is important to be mindful of our spending. This means being conscious of our budget and cutting back on unnecessary expenses. This might involve cooking at home more often instead of eating out, or opting for a cheaper cell phone plan. Every little bit adds up, and by being more mindful of how we spend our money, we can stretch our budgets further and make our money go farther. Another way to prepare for this crazy inflation and a potential recession is to diversify your income streams. This might involve taking on a part-time job, starting a side hustle, or looking into alternative sources of income, such as renting out your room on Airbnb. Having multiple sources of income can be better to weather any financial storms that may come our way. In addition to these strategies, it is also important to make sure that we have a solid emergency savings fund. This fund should be used only in case of emergencies such as a job loss or an unexpected medical expense. By having some money set aside, we can avoid having to take on debt in times of crisis. Now, I would strongly suggest that if you don't have that emergency fund, get started today, and if at all possible, at least get yourself a zero interest credit card if at all possible. That is something that is still available and nice to have for perhaps a balance transfer to lower some debt and to save some of your money for that emergency fund and kind of spread out your expenses a little bit more during this time. In addition to these strategies, it is important to make sure that we have a solid fund in case of crisis. Yes. So, of course, obviously, there's only so much you can save, and that's where a small side gig, side income, rental income is really going to make a difference. So put the pride aside, roll up your sleeves, and get ready for some type of side income. I really like having my own business, and I do run a few things from my business, and it's really important because it gives you many options. You have some tax write-offs that you're allowed if you're running a business, and also business credit is amazing if used wisely and appropriately. So look into an LLC or S Corp if you are ready for or headed to making a small business on the side. And with a few small steps, you would be able to get your business credit up and running, which is nice. And also there are grants, government grants, and loans for small business owners. So take a look at the SBA to get started there. Finally, it is important to stay informed about what is happening in our economy and to make informed decisions based on this information. This might involve following financial news or speaking with a financial advisor. By staying informed, we can make informed decisions about our finances and better protect ourselves and our loved ones. While it can be scary to think about inflation and the possibility of a recession, there are steps that we can take to protect ourselves and our loved ones. By being mindful of our spending, diversifying our income streams, building up that emergency fund, and staying informed, we can weather any financial storms that may come our way and come out stronger on the other side. And lastly, remember that in community, we have freedom. So that means sticking together in your family, your group of friends, and then in your community to help one another out during this interesting time. And that is going to make all the difference. And now I have something else to share with you. Stay tuned. Tune in again right here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Is not one size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation. Grab a copy of my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. It is now available on Audible as well as on Amazon and Kindle and at www.sheilamac.com.